Welcome to Through the Lens of Astrology. I'm your host, Heather Arielle. Today is going to be an astrology day. Some of the questions I've been receiving have really been about the general astrology, the overall astrology of what's going on right now, because it is so intense, and these are volatile and explosive times. So today I'm going to talk about the powerful elimination energies, the elimination energies that are going on right now and that are represented by Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. And then a little later in the show, I'm going to talk about the power of the moon, because we just had a new moon last night in the fiery and dynamic sign of Leo. And the time between a new and full moon is just a wonderful time to be present with your energy, because it represents a mini new beginning. And whatever you start between a new and full moon will grow and blossom. So I always say, choose wisely. And I'm also going to share a unique oracle card spread to help you make the most of these new moon energies. But first, I want to talk about Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, because it has really brought major eliminations and transformation into our lives. It is also prominent in the COVID chart. Now, when I say COVID chart, I'm talking about the astrological birth chart for COVID. And remember, anything that has a beginning has a chart. Countries, businesses, even pandemics. And I'll post the birth chart of COVID in the Beacon of Light radio chat group on Facebook for those of you who would like to see it. So Saturn and Pluto are both karmic planets. And when they are active in a chart, natally, or by transit, or by progression, it's really significant because they will trigger life-altering events. They will also give us profound opportunities to complete karma. And abundance follows karmic completion. Now, the last time Saturn and Pluto were together in the zodiac sign of Capricorn and was in the 1500s. So, yeah, it's been a while. And not to go too much into the past, but it was around the time of a certain German monk named Martin Luther, who posted his disputation on the power and efficacy of indulgences, more famously known as the 95 Theses, of course. He posted it on the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church, and, well, we all know where that led. To major reformation. And that is the essence of what is going on right now. Reform, real reform. We are looking at the traditional, tried and true structures of our society, and we are in the midst of deciding which ones to keep, which ones to completely chuck out the window, and which ones to reform. And this is the energy that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn represent. Now, the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, so I was just talking about when Pluto and Saturn were together in Capricorn, we had to go back to the 1500s. Now, let's just go back to the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, and that was in the 1770s. And, well, we had a little thing here in this country called the American Revolution. So Pluto in Capricorn is especially significant to the evolution of the United States of America. And in the chart of the U.S., and I like to use the Sibley chart, which gives the U.S. a Sagittarius ascendant of around 12 degrees Sagittarius. So in the natal chart of the U.S., Pluto is not only in Capricorn, but it is in opposition to Mercury. That's in the natal chart. So now that Pluto is in Capricorn again, And I mean, it's in those degrees. I mean, it's very, very close. It's very, very close to the exact. It's just a couple degrees away from being conjunct with what's going on in the natal chart. That means that the U.S. is having its Plutonian return. So once again, the U.S. is experiencing what it feels like to have Pluto oppose its Mercury. And remember, Mercury, it's about the mind. Mercury has to do with thoughts, ideas, words, and how we process and then share those thoughts and ideas and words. And all of those things are being transformed right now in this country. And they are supposed to be transformed because that is the power and purpose of an astrological transit. I talk about transits. We have our natal chart. The planets keep moving. They form relationships. They form relationships with the planets in our natal chart. They create transits, the cornerstone of change. So that is the power and purpose of a Pluto opposing Mercury transit. Now, Saturn has a much shorter cycle than Pluto's 248-year cycle. Saturn is, just a quick 28.5-year cycle. That's how long it takes to go around a chart. So it spins around 2.5 years in each astrological house because we have 12 houses. And remember, the foundation of astrology always goes back to the natal birth chart. That's what we create with your birth time. That's what's made up. It's made up of the 12 houses. Each house represents an area of experience, one for health, one for romance, etc. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But I want to say a little more about Saturn. Saturn is the adult in the room. It likes us to be responsible. It likes us to work hard, and it rules the zodiac sign of Capricorn. So that means its energies are most easily expressed when it is in that sign as it is right now. Now, a good image to keep in mind when you want to honor the energy of Saturn is the image of the mountain goat climbing the mountain by putting one little hoof in front of the other. You don't have to run. It's not a race. It's not about who gets there first. It's just about doing things in the right way, in a methodical, meticulous way. It's about not taking shortcuts. With Saturn, there's always effort involved, but there's also reward. Astrologer Grant Levy, he says of Saturn is the cosmic paycheck. And I love that because he's saying when we play by Saturn's rules, we will be rewarded. So, what are Saturn's rules? The above board effort and no shortcuts, those top the list. And when you do those things, you create a foundation that is stable and that has permanence. Saturn is about longevity, but it is also about elimination in that it asks us to prune our relationship, our work routine, our health routine. And I'm saying routine a lot because Saturn loves a routine. So just as an example, just a good transit example. If you have Saturn transiting your 6th house, that's the house of health and work and daily routine, then it means you need to take responsibility for your health, and that if you do get sick while Saturn is in your 6th house, it could be because of a couple of reasons. One, either you didn't take full responsibility for an illness 7 years earlier, because every 7 years, Saturn makes a significant transit to our charts. Or the Saturn transit itself is revealing an illness that will be linked not so much to diet, but more to your DNA because of something inherited. Now, Saturn features prominently in the chart of COVID, and it's really not a great thing because Saturn is connected to longevity, as we've said, and when it's connected to an illness, then it represents those chronic illnesses that even if they don't kill you, they last a really long time, and you have to constantly manage them. And that creates exhaustion. So it's just something that we have to be on top of when Saturn is prominent and even afflicted in a chart. That's why most astrologers I know, they do take COVID seriously in that they understand what Saturn is telling us about it, that we do need to be adult about this. We do need to be responsible, and we do need to be on top of it because Saturn makes it hard to completely wipe out because it just wants to hang in there. It just wants to kind of hang and creep along and hang in there. That's why it's connected to the chronic illness. Then you add in Pluto, and the combination of Saturn and Pluto being so close together in Capricorn, I mean, that's what's really intensifying this whole situation. Pluto is also about elimination, but not by the pruning that Saturn encourages. Pluto's elimination is absolutely transformative elimination. It is total. It's the scorched earth policy. It is all or nothing energy. So with Pluto, we will experience complete elimination of certain ideas, of some relationships, of some people, of some jobs, of some entire ways of life. But we have to remember that Pluto gets rid of only what is truly no longer working, what is truly outmoded. It doesn't make the loss or elimination any less painful, but it does make it necessary because it's making way for something that will ultimately be better and stronger and more in alignment with our highest intention. That's why I like to say with Pluto, there are no real endings, only new beginnings. That is the essence of Plutonian energy. And the image to keep in mind with Pluto is the phoenix rising from the ashes. So there is rebirth after the death. And so both Saturn and Pluto are prominent in the COVID chart. And since that's the chart of a pandemic, it impacts all of us. If it's just a chart of a specific country, then you're going to be impacted if you're living or visiting in that country. If it's a chart of a business, that's going to impact you when you deal with that business. But because this is the chart of a pandemic, that's why Saturn and Pluto it is influencing and impacting all of us. So we need to be present. Now, why I wanted to bring this up today, one, I'm getting the questions. You wanted some overall of astrology, but also because just a few days ago on August 15th, the planet Uranus went retrograde, won't go direct until January 14th, 2021. So that's around 5 months. And this Uranus retrograde is really going to stir the pot. Now, Uranus is known as the Great Awakener. It rules electricity, technology, alternative and unique approaches. It is wild energy. So it's the wild card in a chart. It represents that area in a chart where you never really know what that person is going to do. Think of the motto, expect the unexpected. That is Uranus. An example maybe of a transit. When Uranus and Mars come together as a transit, that's when people take actions, because remember, Mars is action and Uranus is shocking. So people take actions that shock those who know them best. They do the unexpected. Uranus is also about freedom. It stimulates the desire to be free, to be unique, to break free from past restrictions or anything that appears to be a restriction. That's why Uranus is inherently rebellious energy. And Uranus is also connected to elimination, but not the subtle pruning of Saturn or the slow transformative elimination of Pluto. Uranus is sudden, shocking change that is ultimately liberating in that it takes from you only what is keeping you from reaching your highest levels of consciousness. It takes from you what you may be too afraid to let go of yourself. And that's why a loss during a Uranian transit can feel so shocking, because you just don't feel ready to let that person, relationship, idea, or job go. But it's important to remember that with Uranus also comes those beautiful, electrifying epiphanies, those aha, eureka moments, those moments of true awakening. Now, right now, Uranus is in the zodiac sign of Taurus, and it spends around 7 years in a zodiac sign because it takes around 84 years to go around a chart. And Taurus is about value. So it covers moral values, but also money. It's also the sign that is most connected to the material plane, the earthly plane. And that is the area that is being most disrupted right now, most subject to change, because Uranus is change. Most of us have suffered some form of job loss or a job change. So, we've all had a financial shock. Taurus is also about all of the earthly pleasures, the senses, taste, smell, touch, sound. And there is also a huge disruption in being able to easily satisfy our Taurian pleasures right now. Food has been restricted. Touch is restricted because our bubbles are so small. We can't hug everybody we want to hug. Finances, as I've already said, are restricted. And all of these restrictions are making us see our lives, our planet, our place on this planet, our connections to each other. It's making us see all of these things in a shocking new light. And that is the awakening energy of Uranus. That is the gift of Uranus. It eliminates in order to liberate. It wakes us up because we were sleepwalking through a part of our lives. So Uranus is change. If you're going to remember one word about Uranus, remember change. And when it is in the sign of Taurus, it does suffer because Taurus, out of all the signs in the zodiac, is the most resistant to change. It is one of the fixed signs, along with Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. It's also an earth sign. That's why it is so connected to the material and earthly plane. Think of the image of the bull. If it doesn't want to move, it won't. And once it starts running, well, it's best just to get out of its way. So that's the fixity of and the strength and the stamina of Taurus. So change is coming to all of the areas ruled by Taurus. Even how we are handling money right now is changing. There's a coin shortage. We're avoiding using cash right now because we don't even want to touch the actual bills. And that's like a couple of Taurian things. touching a tangible product, touching money. I mean, that's out. So we want to be especially present with the volatile energy of Uranus and Taurus. We want to embrace it because we want to use it to our advantage. We don't want it using us. We want to use it to our advantage. So how do we do that? The highest manifestation of Taurian energy is to add value. Now, this can be monetary value. It can stimulate a desire for quality. So we're willing to pay more to get what we want, because what and how we buy will go through the filter of our values. And that is happening right now. Many of us are making the decision to support small businesses, even when we could be getting similar products more cheaply from bigger and better known businesses. Uranus and Taurus is asking us to rethink the true meaning of value. It's helping us value what those small mom and pop shops are contributing to our communities and to the group. And we are realizing that they contribute something more than just tangible products for consumption. They are adding real value to our lives and to the lives of the larger group, the group that is our community. Uranus and Taurus, it's creating an opportunity for us to change our values, to help us awaken to our true values. Because Uranus is also about being true to your original voice. It's about being authentic. This is a moment for us to say, this is what I care about. This is what is important to me. This is what I value. Or this is the person I value. These are the ideas I value. And Uranus gives us the energy to act on those values and to reform laws and institutions if we need to do that, so that they better reflect our most personal and deepest held beliefs. Now, while Uranus is retrograde, wild and unstable energy is only going to become more volatile. Things are really going to start to come to a head. We're heading into an election. We're heading into 2 more retrogrades, Mercury and Mars. Mars will come September 9th and go until November 13th. Mercury, not till October 14th to November 30th. But that means, we have retrogrades during the election. But for the next few weeks, we're still moving forward. Okay, Mars is in Aries. It's going to stay in Aries through January, but we're still moving forward. And Mars in Aries helps us to take action and move ahead fearlessly. Aries is that fearless energy, and Mars is the action. So we want to act fearlessly. But while Uranus is retrograde, the desire to rebel will be intensified. And with Mars and Aries, it just makes it easier for people to take action. But that includes all types of action. Some will be positive, but some will be taking action from a place of anger. Because Mars in Aries is aggressive energy. So we need to be really present with this dynamic, powerful, explosive energy. It's more important than ever to stay connected to our personal spiritual routine, whatever it is. Whatever it is, stick to it, because we want to ground ourselves. Uranus is that lightning bolt. It's electrifying. It's the lightning bolt. So we want to ground ourselves during this electrifying time. Connect to nature, meditate, I personally do TM. Just do whatever meditation works for you. But it's really important that you stick to it because you'll create these beautiful healing alpha waves and you'll be putting out stable, balanced, beautiful energy that will help everyone calm down a little bit. Because with Mars and Aries, people are just more ready to fight back. They're very comfortable with conflict while Mars is in Aries, and that's going to escalate with Mars retrograde. So we also need to be aware of that. And I want to make a very clear point. I am not telling you to ignore the rebellious energy of Uranus right now. I want you to embrace it, just in a very conscious way. Use it to inspire you to be a rebel with a cause, to embrace reform, and to fearlessly do so. To fearlessly review and redefine your personal values so your actions are in true alignment with your deepest values and beliefs. Because Mars in Aries lights a fire. That's a gift. That is a gift of Mars in Aries. It lights a fire. It's the fastest moving energy. It begins the entire Western zodiac. Let us use that fire to our advantage while also keeping in mind that it can easily get out of hand. And for a lot of people who are not as present with their energy, they will have an increased desire to create not just conflict, but that physical conflict. Now, to get even more out of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn and Uranus and Taurus, then you will want to know, well, how these planets are personally impacting you. And for that, you will need to know which houses in your natal chart are being activated by these planets. So I just want to say a little bit about astrological houses for those of you who want to know about that. Now, if you don't have your natal chart, it's so easy to get one. Just Google free natal charts and you can create one online. If you'd like me to create one for you, I can do that. Just go on my website, ariellesastrology.com, go to the shop, and then you'll have my design that I use for the charts. Once you have your chart, look at it. And you want to pretend that it's a clock. Just think of it as a clock. And the first thing you want to do is find where 9 o'clock is. And that will represent the beginning of your first house. It all starts with the first house. 9 o'clock is the first degree of your first house. And then you'll go counterclockwise around the chart. So 8 o'clock is your second house. 7 o'clock is your third house. And you get the idea. Find the houses that Saturn, Pluto, Mars, and Uranus are activating by transit. Now, I know a chart can look indecipherable because it has symbols for the planets and symbols for the signs, but don't let that overwhelm you. You don't have to learn all the symbols. All you need is a way to look them up. So for those of you who have my Fundamentals of Astrology guidebook, go to page 298. For those of you who have the 2020 Astrology Oracle Card Planner, you can go to pages 5 and 6. You can also go to the Beacon of Light radio chat group on Facebook because I'm sharing those symbols with the group. So then you know what to look for in your chart. This is just a way for those of you who want to go a little deeper can. Because remember, astrology is full of nuance and duality, and nothing ever means just one thing. So there's just more and more layers to explore. Now, I also want to talk today a little bit about the moon because we just had a new moon last night in fiery, dynamic, creative, generous, and romantic Leo. And I want to share with you a really special oracle card spread that I personally do with each new moon. And with the spread I'm doing today, I'm asking Spirit to bring in the messages that will be of most benefit and inspiration to everyone listening. Because by our collective listening, we are all participants. And so we form a group. We form a group And these messages will be for us. Now, I'm also going to walk us through how I'm doing it in case anyone listening wants to do this spread at home. So you start by taking the Fundamentals of Astrology Oracle deck, and you put the cards into 5 categories. You want to have one pile just for the elements. And remember, there are 4 elements. We have fire, earth, air, water. And right now we've got a lot of fire energy with that fiery Leo new moon and the fiery Aries Mars. And the element cards have the melon borders. So that's one pile. Then you create a pile with the modalities. And that's the cardinal, fixed, and mutable cards. They have the dark green borders. And then put the 11 planet cards, the ones that have the light blue borders, into a pile. Then get the zodiac signs, the 12 zodiac signs, which have the purple borders, put them into a pile. Then take the 12 house cards, which have the light green borders, and put them into a pile. So you should have 5 categories at this point. Now, the 2 weeks between a new and full moon, I've said, oh boy, it's just a wonderful time to begin new things. So you really want to, you just want to be present with that energy. And this is a great spread to perform each new moon to learn which energies will be most beneficial to bring into your life during a particular new moon phase. So this is all about asking Spirit to say, if we bring these energies in, it's going to help us reach our highest levels of health, joy, abundance, happiness, creativity, our highest potential. Now, the first card we will place will be the moon card, but we're going to do the moon card reversed. That is our inspiration focus card. So it's an inspiration focus card. We take it out, we look at the moon reversed. It helps us to focus, to connect to our intention. Now, the moon is the most intricate celestial body to master. And it's mythically connected to the Roman goddess Diana, the Greek goddess Artemis. Its receptive qualities. It has such receptive qualities, and that they mask its true meaning. That's why in this spread we use the reversed message, which says, I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. It's especially appropriate for the new moon energy because it's all about things becoming clear to us over the next 2 weeks. Because the whole point of doing this spread is to lift the veils, bring clarity to our lives so we can make informed decisions. So now we will I'm going to pick a card from each category, and this will be for the group. So I'm just going to shuffle. So right now I'm shuffling the elements. Okay. Ooh, Cardinal. Okay, the Cardinal card. All right. Well, both Saturn and Pluto are in Cardinal signs. So we've been talking about Cardinal energy. That is all about individual initiative. That's about being a self-starter. That's about not waiting around for somebody to tell you what to do. It's saying, you know what to do. Do it. And Mars and Aries, boy, we got a lot of cardinal energy right now. So this energy for the group, and I know so many beautiful, you all just have beautiful healing souls. And if you're listening to this program, I know that you are on a spiritual journey. So that is really saying, embrace cardinal energy, embrace your self-reliance, take that initiative. On the card, it says, it's up to you to manifest your dreams. So this is a card of action. When you get the cardinal modality card, it is a card of action. So that is saying, okay, we're going to connect to Mars and Aries and act. And don't wait for a partner. You can have a partner, but it means you don't have to wait for a partner to do something. Okay. Now I'm going to pick, um, and I realized I did the modality first. Okay. But I already pulled it. So yeah. So now we're going to choose. Now we're going to do the element. All right. So the element, I'm just shuffling. Okay. The element is, oh, Earth. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is really resonating with this, with what we've talked about today in the astrology. Boy, okay, Capricorn is an Earth sign, so Saturn, Pluto in Earth, Taurus is Earth. Wow, Earth. Okay, so this is, already when we're combining Cardinal and Earth, Earth is practical. Earth is saying we've got to find real ways to move forward, practical ways. Um, um, that is the Earth element. And it's also saying that we can feel when we get the Earth card, because we're feeling that lack with Uranus and Taurus, and I'm talking about some of the restrictions that we're having from the touch and the hugging and things like that. This is really saying we need to be aware of that and bring it in. So whether, spend time hugging a pet, if you can hug a pet, because that'll create oxytocin and that's wonderful. You can, if you're really isolated, I like to do an Abhyanga massage where I take hot oil in the morning after a bath and you massage yourself with that, and that boosts your immune system. And so, take care of yourselves, take care of your health. If you get the earth, take care of yourself and be practically, and in a practical way, move forward. Okay. So now I'm going to pick a planet card. So I'm shuffling the planet cards. It's all about the energy to incorporate. Okay, so all right, let's look. Okay, the planet card. Oh, wow, Saturn. Wow, okay. Saturn is karmic. You all know what Saturn is. We've been talking about Saturn a lot today. Cardinal Earth, Saturn. Wow, that's really representing Saturn and Capricorn. So it's saying pay attention. When you get the Saturn card, uh, you have an opportunity to complete karma. And karmic completion brings in beautiful abundance. It's also saying we need to be responsible. And it's also that practical energy. Saturn likes a meticulous, methodical plan. So you're supposed to be moving forward over these next 2 weeks, embracing the cardinal energy. Embracing the cardinal energy is, yes, you are taking initiative. You're going to move forward, but you're going to move forward. You're going to be the mountain goat. You're going to try to embrace a routine. It's not about getting there first or running. It's being that little mountain goat, one hoof in front of the other. Think about, what do you want to accomplish? Saturn also says you can accomplish it. Just play by Saturn's rules and you can accomplish it. And what better time to do that than between a new and full moon? So this is really saying set your ideas, dreams, projects in motion, but do it in that methodical, meticulous way. So if you only have, when you get the Saturn card, if you only have 10 minutes a day, okay, then do 10 minutes a day. It's better to be consistent because Saturn likes consistency. So it's better not to say, I'm going to spend 6 hours today doing this project, and then you exhaust yourself, and then the next day you don't do it at all. It's better to be practical and realistic and say, you know what, I can only give 10 minutes, or I can give 30 minutes, and I can give 30 minutes 3 times a week. Okay, just get a practical routine that is consistent, and you can have tremendous, tremendous benefit. Okay, now I'm going to pick a zodiac sign. I'm shuffling the zodiac signs. Okay. Oh, Leo. Well, I'll tell you, for a new moon, that's just perfect. For a new moon oracle spread, when the new moon is in Leo, okay, that's really saying, yeah, even though the sun is going to move into Virgo in a few days, we've got this last hurrah from Leo. So we want to embrace it. So that means believe in yourself. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate those around you. Express yourself. Be creative. Bring the joy and fun. And because Leo's fun, creative energy, it's also romantic energy. So, yeah, get romantic. Be fun, be creative. And as the card says, magical, creative energy is all around you. Lap up the praise and attention. You deserve it. Now, Leo, so Leo's about self expression and cardinal energy. We want to move forward. We just want to do it in that Saturn practical Earth way. I should also say about Saturn and Earth, you can manifest in real tangible ways. So this could be if there's a tangible product involved, or you can really don't just keep these ideas in your head. When you get the Earth and Saturn, it's saying this is not just about keeping something in your head. This is, let's put it out. Let's get it out there, and let's take real actions. And the Leo energy is really saying, make sure that you are celebrating yourself and having confidence. Leo is about being confident and vibrant, and that fiery, dynamic, vibrant energy. So not only should you be feeling that, but make sure that you are celebrating others. Because when we feel creative, wonderful things happen. And we all need to be brainstorming and coming up with unique, original ways to do things. And so being in that Leo mind of the joy of creating, the joy of self-expression. So even if you feel you're not a professional creator, you can keep a journal, write down ideas, do any kind of creative hobby. Make sure, paint a little bit, dance, write. Anything that's going to be creative is going to be really wonderful to do. Okay, so now the house. So we want to know the house that will be of most benefit to us. And remember, we have the 12 astrological houses in a chart. So I'm just shuffling the house cards. Okay. The second house. All right, the second house. So the second house, on the card, it says your ability to grow your finances through earned income is receiving a special blessing right now. And we all need that. The second house is about, boy, it's so relevant to what we talked about today. It is the house of earned income, but it's also the house of values. Guess what? Taurus rules the second house, and we've been talking about Uranus and Taurus. So this is a real message that we really do need to be connecting to our values and celebrating them and expressing them. When you connect Leo in second house, it's saying that also, if you can connect, have the confidence and connect to your own creativity, that's going to lead you to be able to make more money. And also, I think that, when you get the Cardinal card, it means you do have ideas that you're thinking, well, I could do that, but something's holding you back. Okay. When you get the Leo card, no, you don't hold back. Leo is go forward and do it. It's very active. It's active. It's connected to the fifth house, which is creative, it's social, it's active. So the message for all of us, because we're the group is to say, we got to really take initiative, connect to what it is we want to be doing, and don't be afraid. If you have an idea, pursue it. It's saying absolutely go for it with the Leo. There are ways that maybe you haven't thought of that can increase income, but it's also the value. It's saying value yourself when you get Leo and second house. And Leo is creativity. So it's saying we got to be really creative too about how we go about doing this. And the best advice then is to be doing these things, but to be doing these things inspired by Saturn and Earth. So I can't stress that enough, because the Saturn and Earth cards we got. So think about the routine. Think about what is a realistic routine that you can get into over the next 2 weeks. You don't have to just figure it out tomorrow. You got 2 weeks. It's saying bring these energies in over the next 2 weeks. And that's going to be really beneficial to you. So think about, what is it that you want to do? How much time can you realistically give to it? Because I know, my goodness, your school, people are schooling their children. I mean, it's a lot of things. So sometimes we don't do things at all because we think, well, I only have 10 minutes. What's the point? So this is when you get Saturn and Earth, it's saying that's fine. 10 minutes is fine. It doesn't have to be hours. So find however much time you can actually commit in a consistent way, no shortcuts. And then make the goal by the end of this new moon period in 2 weeks that you've at least got that routine going. If it's 10 minutes 3 times a week, okay, great. Just be the mountain goat, one little hoof in front of the other. And that's Saturn saying, if you play by Saturn's rules, you will reach the top of the mountain. Now, once we get to the full moon, that is culminating energy. So be aware that that's a really good time to check in. You're going to be applying, you're going to be embracing all of this energy. And then in 2 weeks, it's always good to look back at the new moon spread. Look back at those messages and say, okay, how well did you incorporate them? Where are you? And typically you'll see, oh, wow, I did get to incorporate some of those messages. And it's okay if it's not a complete completion. It's a time to check in. So then you can say, okay, I know now how to further build. Because then during the waning moon, that's the time you can be refining. You're building, the combination happens. And then during the waning moon, you can be, okay, I can make this adjustment. You're making adjustments. And then, of course, next month, we have a whole new moon. We have a new moon. And that just is going to then bring in all new energy. And if you're following along in the planner, you can go to pages 94 and 95 of the 2020 Astrology Oracle Card Planner. If you want to see more details, because there's a way to record. But I will also be sharing the spread that I just did with the Beacon of Light Radio Facebook chat group. So you can just go there if you want to see the diagram of the spread or the cards themselves. But I think one of the most important things to remember right now is that, yes, it's dynamic, explosive, volatile energy. Uranus just went retrograde. Yeah, we got to expect the unexpected, but we can also, by embracing the energy, we don't have to be afraid of energy, even volatile energy. We can choose to be present with the energy. It's a choice. It's a choice to say, I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to make this my friend. I am going to make this my friend and incorporate that exciting energy to say, if there's an area, if there's something about my life that I do need to change, even if it's a routine, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fearlessly do that. So I think that's also really important. And that especially if you are feeling, because I know a lot of my clients, and I'm getting questions, you feel out of balance. It's a little bit easier to feel out of balance when Uranus is afflicted and it's retrograde and this is happening. But that's why I say, just stick to your spiritual routine. Because sometimes what I'm finding is that the more we need to do it in the times when we really need to stick to our routine, those are the times when we are least likely to stick to it. So I'm saying, more important than ever, ground yourself. And whatever it is, if it's a bubble bath, do a bubble bath. If it's an abhyanga, I do the Abhyanga massage in the morning. I love that. I like to meditate. I spend time in nature. We all have the routine that grounds us. So ground and then fearlessly pursue the values that are meaningful to you. And they will be original. Uranus is about original. So this is not about asking your friend or it doesn't matter what anyone else is thinking or feeling. This is about looking inside and you honoring your authentic self and making whatever adjustment or refinement or flat out change that you need to make. Because that is the gift. That is the gift of this energy. And it is a gift. So we should think of it like that. Now I've posted a lot of things in the Beacon of Light radio chat group. So if you want to see the charts that I talked about today, the symbols, anything like that, you can go there to get the visuals, because I know sometimes you really do need the visual aid. And you can also be looking in the guidebook and looking in the planner. Now, a couple of people have asked for personal individual readings. I mean, an inspirational message. So I do want to honor that. And we do have a couple minutes left. So, okay, Ivy is a Hola. I hope I said that right. Oh, okay. And Carolyn. Okay. Now, Ivy, what is Ivy's? Oh, Ivy, your sun is in Scorpio. I love it. Okay. Intense, passionate, transformative. You should definitely listen to last week's show. I talked so much about Scorpio. You'll love it. Okay. When I interviewed Claudia Crawford. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna shuffle the deck because I separated it, for this reading, for the Oracle card reading. Okay. So I'm just going to shuffle. And first, I'm going to pick an inspirational message for Ivy. All right. Scorpio. It's all about transformation, Ivy. So, very powerful healing energy. Okay. Okay. Let's pick a message. Yeshua, angels and guides. Pick a message for Ivy, please. Okay. Ooh, Ivy got the Capricorn message. Okay. So Ivy, Capricorn, this is a very powerful message. That's connected to Saturn. It's saying, climb every mountain. My gosh, this is exactly what I've been talking about today. It's time to be the mountain goat and begin your ascent. All right. Because your sun is in Scorpio, you came in to have a lot of power. Okay. Scorpio is very powerful energy. When you get the Capricorn card, this is really saying, this echoes even the new moon energy. Get into a routine. Really make sure you are actively pursuing in a methodical, meticulous way, in a practical way, in an above board way. No shortcuts, no shortcuts. It's not a race. Okay. You may feel you're not going fast enough. This Capricorn is saying, actually slow down, because you want to cross your T's and dot your I's. So don't be hard on yourself. If you feel something's not going fast enough, you will absolutely have success. Embrace Capricorn right now. And so whatever you're pursuing, whether it's a relationship, a project, whatever you're doing, go for it. You can have tremendous success, but but be patient and stay optimistic. Stay up, because Capricorn can be a bit of a downer sometimes. We just get a little serious when Capricorn is kind of hovering over us. It's a very powerful card. It's full steam ahead for you. Okay. All right. And Carolyn. Okay, let's get Carolyn a card. Okay. Carolyn. Oh, Aries. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Aries. Well, Carolyn. Okay. It's kind of the opposite of, and Carolyn's sun sign is Capricorn. Oh, how interesting. Carolyn's sun sign is Capricorn. Okay, so and Ivy was Scorpio and Capricorn energy. All right. Aries and Capricorn. Aries is full steam ahead. This is, you've got to move fast. So Ivy doesn't have to move fast, but has to move consistently with the routine. Carolyn, this is like ready, set. You should have been there yesterday. So this is light a fire, get going, do it yesterday. Take fear. You've got to really act fearlessly. This is the message. And embrace new ways of doing things, new beginnings. Actions you take now will yield swift results. So you charge ahead, Carolyn, with your visionary plans. When you get the Aries card, it is you can run. The Capricorn, you just want to put one little hoof in front of the other, Ivy. You know, no need to race. But Carolyn, you got to move a little faster. That's a very exciting card, and that's a very dynamic card. Okay, well, thank you for those. I'm glad we got those in. So, and just keep in mind that astrology is full of that nuance and duality. So, these are inspirational messages that if you incorporate, that's what Spirit is saying, incorporate these messages, and they're going to help you reach your full potential of perfect health, happiness, abundance, creativity, joy. So, that's our show. Please join me next week. Until then, enjoy and embrace transformation.